Here are 6 things that you will find in a natural born leader. If you don't know me, I am Barika from Simply Unique Coaching, and I have been leading for more than 15 years. I've led over 18 teams. I'm actually leading more teams. I just say over 18 because the number is quite high. But anyway, so I'm going to talk to you today from what I know as a natural born leader. And you may say, okay, well, how do you know that you're a natural born leader? Because I don't apply for leadership positions, but people keep asking me to take them on. So that's one of the things that we're going to talk about is how can you know if you are actually a natural born leader? And I can tell you actually kind of when my leadership skills started to manifest were actually when I was probably around 8. That was the first time that I was actually tasked with taking care of a group of individuals. I was born in a different era. So there were things that maybe not things that would happen today, but things that would occur back then when I was born, which were okay, considered to be okay. So the first time I actually was responsible for a group, I was 8. And then the second time I was like 10. So again, these are things where it was just kind of like they fell into my lap. And then I just found myself taking responsibility another time as a teenager. And actually, I got my first leadership position when I was 17 years old. I got paid as a customer service manager in a well-known grocery store chain at the age of 17. So I started off in a different position, a front end position when I was 15. And then I got promoted into a manager position when I was 17. So how can you tell if you are a natural born leader? One of the things you're going to find is that you have influence with other people. And so when you say something, you'll find that people will tend to put a heavier weight on what you're saying and heavier consideration into what you're saying, especially the natural born leaders. One of the things that we need to do is make sure we're channeling all of our energy for good. And when I say channeling all of our energy for good, meaning that we have the ability to influence people. So we need to make sure that we're influencing them into the right thing and not influencing them into the wrong thing. So think about like when you see people who are in like criminal organizations or gangs or things like that, they just are natural born leaders, especially if people are following them, but they are not channeling all that energy for good. So we want to make sure that us as good leaders, we are channeling our energy for good and helping people to move forward, helping visions to move forward, organizations to move forward, our households to move forward, and using our leadership skills in a positive way. The next way that you can tell that you're a natural born leader is that kind of what I was alluding to earlier is that you are asked, like people headhunt you and they're asking you to take on leadership positions, to take on leadership roles. I've literally gotten to the point, I'm going to be honest, and this is not a humble brag or anything. This is just what I'm seeing from the pattern that has happened in my life. I literally have gotten to the point where now when I join a new group of people, I have to determine like ahead of time, am I willing to take on any leadership position here? Because I know I'm going to be asked. And I'm not being prideful. I promise I'm not being prideful, but I literally have a natural leadership gifting. So if I'm in an organization for a given period of time, I know I've seen it happen over decades that people are going to eventually ask me to take on a leadership role. So I have to know ahead of time, am I willing to take on a role here? So this is when you're going to know if you're a natural born leader. People are going to frequently ask you to take on leadership positions or responsibility for groups of people. So if you find that that has happened to you multiple times, then this is a good sign that you are a natural born leader. This is another indication that you are a natural born leader. You will walk into a situation or a scenario and you'll see what needs to be done. And depending on the severity of the situation, you might start saying, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, can you do this? Can you take this on? You might find that you're delegating tasks to people to get things done. And I just remember, this is so weird. I'm going to share this, but anyway, I remember one night I had a dream, and in this dream, there was like this lion on the street, and there were all these people on the street, and they were like scared of the lion. And I'm like seeing the lion, and I'm like, why isn't anybody doing anything? And I was like, well, I'm going to do something about it. And then I, fought the lion or got rid of the lion or whatever. So I use that, as an analogy, but like literally that's how I am as a person. And so I have to now, I'm learning to know how to take a step back and just saying, you know what, certain things are not my responsibility because we want to be in balance, right? So as a leader, you might see situations and we have to be careful. So we're not crossing the line of being bossy and telling people, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But I'm talking about like most of the time when I step in like that, it's like a safety issue. It's like, this is not safe, or this is going to hurt somebody. So can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Like, so everyone's safe. So that's most of the time nowadays when I find that I kind of will get involved. Otherwise, I kind of try to stay in my lane, especially like, listen, I got enough on my own plate to take on anything else anybody else has or anything else that's really not my responsibility. But that's one of the signs that you'll see is that you're like a natural delegator and people tend to follow you. Another sign that you are a natural born leader is that you are able to see the big picture. So again, this kind of alludes to the last one. You see what needs to be done and you're able to communicate what needs to be done to get people to that end result. That is definitely the sign of a natural born leader. You are forward thinking. You can see, okay, this is what needs to happen, or this is where we need to go. And then you're able to walk a group of people through how to get there. And so that is a very good sign, especially if you see that happening frequently in your life. We need to get there. Hey, can you do this? And that goes back to that delegating part. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And that's a part of that delegation, right? But also a part of seeing the big picture because you know where people need to go. Now, another sign of being a natural born leader is that you probably hate to follow the crowd. So I started the business, 2 years ago, and I felt strongly on the inside that I need to be on TikTok. And I was like, what is a TikTok? I don't even know what TikTok is. I was on IG and Facebook and stuff like that for my personal stuff. But then as I started the business, I was like, okay, felt like I needed to do TikTok. So I go with that inner feeling, that inner gut feeling, right? So I got on TikTok. And one of the things that I didn't like about TikTok was I felt like I couldn't be, not that I couldn't be myself, but I felt like I had to follow a formula and I didn't like that. So I could be myself, but I had to be myself in this format. And that's like nails on the chalkboard, because I'm like, okay, I know what people need to know about leadership. So the way I was doing my format would be better for YouTube, especially if I was doing long form content back then, which is like the longer videos. But I just was like, this is what they actually need. And unfortunately, I'm just going to say this, unfortunately, with a lot of businesses, especially online businesses or businesses where we're teaching people things, unfortunately, we have to give people what they think they need. But if you specialize in the area, like I specialize in leadership, I actually know what people need. But it's kind of hard when people think they need A, but they need 1, 2, and 3. They think they need A, B, and C, and they're going to be good. But it's like you actually need 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. And I can give you A, I can give you B, and I can give you C. But if you don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then A, B, and C is not going to be as beneficial to you. So that was kind of the hard thing. But, I've learned, I've grown, and I still am being authentic to myself. But I also want you to think about how this relates to you. Do you have a hard time following the crowd? Do you find that when people are in trends and stuff like that, that you don't do trends? I remember in middle school, I started wearing a blazer in middle school. Don't know why. Nobody else in middle school was wearing it, but I was going to wear a blazer, the business blazers. I started wearing that in middle school, and it was just that's what I wanted to do, So if you're a natural born leader, you're going to find that you don't like following trends. You might, if you find something cool or enjoyable, you'll follow that. Or not even that you'll follow that, you'll do that. But it's because you have made the decision within yourself that that's what you want to do. It's not because you said, oh, that's cool. They're doing that. I want following the crowd is going to irk your nerve. That just everything in you is going to be oh, that's so gross. That's so gross. That's how I feel. If I feel like I'm following behind people, I feel like that's so gross, especially if it's a crowd of people. Now, there are going to be people who are going to inspire you or that are going to help you get better. And those people, I tend to kind of watch them and I'm like, okay, I like what they're doing. I like what they're saying. Okay, this person has more knowledge than me. And those are people that I tend to allow to influence me because I can see that they know what they're talking about. And once I realize that they know what they're talking about and they have the fruit to back it up, then I'm like, okay, this will work, And so it's we're making those educated decisions to follow people. We don't just follow people because it's popular. That is nails on a chalkboard, okay? Now, the other thing, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine about this, and we had a discussion about it, and it was a civil discussion, but I told her, and this is me as a leader, I don't like leaders who flip-flop, who are floppy like a fish. One day it's yellow and the next day it's purple. It's is it yellow or is it purple? But it's depending on who they're talking to, yeah, it's yellow. Yeah, it's yellow. And then they talk to another group, it's definitely purple. I can see your point. And it's they're not making decisions. They're flip-flopping to appease the people. And as a good leader, again, it needs to be done. So you're willing to get the pushback and take the pushback and suffer the pushback if you know it's going to help people, especially as a good leader with a good heart. So it's almost like with children, right? A good parent is not going to let their child do whatever they want to, because that is going to be detrimental to them. That is not going to help them. Okay. You're not going to let them do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want. That's not good parenting. And unfortunately, I see people, they think that they're being a good parent by just letting their kid do whatever. You're letting your kid talk back to you. You're letting your kid destroy other people's stuff. You're letting your kid run off and just do whatever they want to, go to the store and tear up stuff. Like, that's not good parenting. That's not good parenting. So as a good parent, you see what needs to be done. Okay, listen, before we even go into the store, I'm going to tell you what I need. I need you to do this. Stay by me. Don't ask for anything. If you do a good job. And see, I believe in, like, if you tell them the benefit, this is the good thing that's going to happen if you follow instructions, this is the bad thing that's going to happen if you don't follow instructions. So we're making this clear before we even get into the situation. So what you're doing is you're basically addressing something before it becomes a problem, right? You are not waiting until the problem occurs. Now, sometimes things are going to happen in the moment. So you're going to be like, oh, that was a problem. I think that's fine. You know, you can address that a little bit later. Say, you know what, when we went to the store, this happened, and I don't want this to happen again. So the next time we go to the store, I need you to do this. Don't do that. If you do that, have those logical consequences. This is what's going to happen, right? Okay, that's enough of the parenting part. I'm going to hop out of that. But as a leader, there are some things that are going to be acceptable and some things that are not going to be acceptable. So what I was talking about is the flip-flopping. Like, one day you tell the kid, you don't say anything to the kids, so they run around all crazy, and then you get mad when they get unruly, but you didn't talk to them. You were like, oh, or you went to the store with a family member. So your normal rules for your kid, you didn't follow, because you're like, I don't want this family member to think I'm too strict, or I don't want them to think this and that. So the flip-flopping. And so for me, I find that I actually have more respect for leaders who make a decision and they stand by their decision. Not to say that they can't be influenced to potentially change their mind if they get more information that says, okay, I could be wrong, or maybe I'm not considering all of the factors. But like, they don't let peer pressure, that's it. They don't let peer pressure, they don't allow peer pressure to cause them to change their mind, because that's not good. Like, having facts and data and conversations can help you to make different decisions or to change your mind if you choose to. But I don't like when people are not firm on what they think, because I feel like that's like a weak leader. And unfortunately, I've seen it. I'm not going to talk anymore about that. So if you are feeling stuck as a leader, I want you to check out my playlist. I'm going to add it here. If you have any questions, let me know. I want to know, what do you think is another sign of a natural born leader? Drop it down in the comments. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Make it a great day. Take care. Bye.